What is going on, everybody? Welcome to one of the most requested Python videos to date, and that is dedicated to the meshing of Python with interactive brokers, or IB, using IBPy. So IB, or interactive brokers, is a brokerage that kind of appears to take the middle ground between institutional trading and individuals, and maybe not even the middle ground. They pretty much appeal to both parties and a wide spectrum. So to play with interactive brokers, we only need to have a demo account. And for a real trading account, the minimum is $10,000, which is actually quite low for someone who offers these similar services. So the demo is only going to support a small number of trading, like symbols, like stock symbols and all of that, but you'll definitely get the idea. And once you have an approved and funded account, you'll be able to use Interactive Brokers Paper Trader, which is kind of like IB's paper trading tool that gives you a sense of, how you can fully mimic live trading without the risk, right? So paper trading. But first, we can just play with the demo and decide if this is really a path that we want to go down. So first, we want to go ahead and set up the demo. So the first thing that we need to do is head over to https://www.interactivebrokers.com. Let me bring mine up. Once you're here, what you're going to want to do is head over to open an account. Then go to individuals, because that's us. And then we don't want either of these, but we want platform demo. So you'll click on that. And then you want to come here to try individual demo for Trader Workstation. What that's going to do is download a file right here. Just hit keep. And it should be edemo.jnlp. If you don't get it, you should be able to see if if this fails to download, you can click here. That's going to open up this one. And I would still use the standalone. You can use the browser-based one, but I would actually kind of recommend the standalone, and do that, or Mac, Unix, whatever you need. But this should work out for you. So you click on that, and that'll make this pop up. Now, mine, I don't think it'll end up asking me, but if this is your first time, it's going to ask you whether or not you want to use the old look or the new look. And the new look is like Mosaic. And then the old look, I don't even know what they call it. But anyway, I'm going to be using Mosaic. So if you want to follow along exactly and it look like mine looks, use Mosaic. So once that's done, let's see, I got some of these warnings sometimes. We'll hit OK there, and we don't want to open an account, so we'll just hit close. So what should pop up is this. So you've got this interactive brokers kind of platform going on here. So most of these, the only two things we're really going to look at, this has prices over here, this has your portfolio, and then any orders you have here, but you can always go to like portfolio, you can change this stuff up, right? And both of these are now showing orders. Anyway, this is the Trader's Workstation. You can play around with it if you want. This isn't really our main focus. The only thing I would like to add is sometimes they just throw random things, it seems, into your portfolio. So when you load up, sometimes you might have pure cash, sometimes you might have some sort of forex, or foreign money. You got stocks or whatever, but generally you're going to have about $500,000 in your account. So sometimes you'll see other stuff here, and it can get kind of confusing if it's your first time. But just know that for whatever reason they throw random stuff in there, or maybe I'm doing something I don't realize, but it does seem like it's just kind of random when you open it up. So now the only other thing that we need to do while we're here is we want to go to File, Global Configuration. That'll bring up this window here. When you're here, click on API and then go to Settings. Now once you're in Settings, you should see a screen that looks something like this. Make sure you have Enable ActiveX and Socket Clients checked. And down here, you just want to note this number. It should be the same for everybody, 7,496. And then you want to come down to Master API Client ID. And you want to specify some sort of client ID. For us, let's just say we're 999. That's all I'm going to say. And when you're done there, just go ahead and hit Apply, OK, and we're all set. And the other thing you might want to check, let's go File, Global Configuration again, API Precautions, and make sure you have this checked, Bypass Order Precautions for API Orders. And again, hit Apply, OK. And that should be the only settings that we need to set. now that we've got the Trader workstation up and the API in theory there, even though you didn't really have to set much up, it's there. The next thing that we need to do is we want to get IBPy so we can interact with this with Python, because the actual TWS API is actually a Java API, so you're supposed to be using Java, and what IBPy is basically, it's just a Python wrapper around the Java API. So that's what we want to get next. So once you're ready for that, you want to head over to github.com/blamep/IBPy. I will put the links to all this stuff in the description. And once you're here, if you are on Windows anyways, just download the zip file. And if you're on, Linux or whatever, you can use the Git and all that. But anyway, once you've got it installed, let's go ahead and open that up, show the folder. And here we have our eDemo, and then here's our IBPy master. It's obviously zipped up, so let's go ahead and extract it. And that gives us this. Okay, so now what we want to go ahead and do is come back here, hold shift, right click, open command window here. And now what we want to run is a setup.py install. So we want to install IBPy. So once you've done that, IBPy is now installed and you're ready to use IBPy. So now we're done with this, so we can close this out. We can close out of here, and we don't need our browser anymore, I don't think, unless I've screwed something up. Go ahead and leave your TWS up and active at least. I guess I'll just leave it, well, I'll just minimize it for now, but we'll come back to it, don't worry. So now we're ready to actually start programming with IBPy. Now, I think it would be useful at least to explain real quick, because I get a lot of questions about this, and there's obviously a whole lot we can do with IBPy, because IBPy pretty much has everything you want to do with the API. So I mean, this is options, you've got different order types, just everything that you might be able to do with the API you can do with IBPy. So if there's something you're looking for, chances are you can find it if you head over, go to your Python directory. So generally that's going to be C, Python 2.7 or Python 3.4 or whatever. And once you're there, head over to lib, and I said Python 3.4, but pretty sure IBPy is like, I don't think in active development anymore, so I don't think it's going to work on 3. But anyway, lib, site packages, and you'll find IBPy is under IB, and then in here is where you're going to find all the stuff that this does. So this is where connection, how you make the connection to their server, and then I want to say it's going to be an extension. And then, yeah, anything to like make orders, you've got market data, contract we use, and basically all this stuff, so you could look through it and see what's all available to you. Or if you have something specific, you could look through the documentation. But what I'm going to do is have us walk through just a simple, how do we make orders? So how do we either buy a stock at market or buy a stock at a limit offer or sell or whatever. So that's what we're going to cover here. So to begin, from ib.opt, we want to import connection, and also we want message and connection, so we can connect. Message is, actually we're probably not even going to use message in this one. I just want to keep this pretty simple, but when you speak to and from the server, it's going to give you back a message, and so if you're having errors or trouble, it can be helpful to like print out what the message was. So the next thing that we want is from ib.x.contract. We want to import contract, and then finally from ib.x.order we want to import order. So we're going to connect, we set up a contract, and then we place the order for that contract. So first, let's go ahead and make this contract. So we're going to define make contract. And in order to make a contract, we need the following things. We have to have a symbol, so in this case, what's the stock symbol? Then you also, when you're making a contract, you have to have a security type. So we're going to just do sec type. Then you have to specify on what exchange, under what primary exchange, and then the currency. Those are all the parameters that we need. So now we're ready to specify what we want to do with those parameters, because actually the making of a contract, as I just showed you, is done completely by IBPy. We don't have to do any programming, we just have to feed it to IBPy. So to do that now, we're going to say contract.m_symbol, and this is in reference again to IBPy, so m_symbol can be found in the contract function of inside IB/ext, and then contract is going to be in there, and that'll be the, actually not contract function, that'll be, it's contract.py in there, and then m symbol in there. So anyway, if you want to look more at the documentation for that, just keep that in mind. So anyway, what I was just saying here, extension, and then you have extension, contract, and then if you were to open this up, you're going to find this contract class, and that's what it's talking about. So all these things are a possibility, right, when making a contract. So you can see there's a whole lot of possibilities here. Anyway, closing out of this, moving this aside. So contract.mSymbol, that's going to be equal to symbol. Then contract.m_secType equals secType. Contract.m_exchange equals contract.m_primary ext equals prim ext. And then we finally have currency, so contract.m_currency equals cur. And then finally at the end of this, we just return contracts. And that's it for make contracts. So all we were really doing is passing through some variables through the already created class of contract for us. So now we've got a contract, now we need to make the order. Now, when you make an order, at least to me, you generally, at least with stocks, you've got, you've got your market order where you want it to basically be an instant order, and then you've got a limit order. So you can do one of two things. You can either, we could have make market order or make limit order function specifically, or we can kind of set it up to the point where one function covers it all. And so the way I'd like to do that is, so define make_order, and then we're going to have action. So action will correspond to are we buying or selling, and then we're going to have quantity, and quantity is going to be how many are we buying or selling. And then we're going to have price, how much do we want to pay per. And to start, we're going to have price be a default of none. And maybe you can see where I'm going with this. But if price is not none, this means we specified a price. So the next things that we want to do is order equals order, and order is corresponding to ib.x.order order, so it's going to be the order class. So again, ext, and then we come down here to order just so we can see what we're working with. And this is the order. Again, there's a lot of different parameters that we can talk about or specify here, even more than the other one. So anyway, look through that if you've got specific order types and stuff that you want to do. But anyway, order equals order. Now we're going to say order.m_order type, and that is going to be equal to, well, if the price is not none, that means we specified a price. So if we specified a price, then this must be a limit order. So we specify a limit order with a capital LMT. Now next, order.m_total quantity, that's going to equal quantity. And then order.m_action equals action, whatever we say, so that's buy or sell. And then finally, order.m_limit, or sorry, LMT, capital PRICE, and that equals price. And that's it for a limit offer. Now, what if we didn't specify? Well, then we have a market offer, or a market order. So now I'm just going to copy this, paste it down here. This remains, first line remains the same. This changes to MKT for market. Total quantity stays quantity. Action stays the same. This time we just don't specify a limit price. that's that. Now we're all done with make. Oh my goodness, I just noticed I call this make under. Make order. That's quite the typo. Anyway, now at the end of this, we want to return order. And now we're done. Next, what we want to have here is some sort of, I guess we'll call this a main loop for now. Oops, define main. And under main, we're going to have con for connection equals capital C connection dot create. And here you have to specify the port and the client ID. So port, and that's equal to that number I pointed out earlier. So it's 7496 most likely for all of you. And then also client ID, and we said that was 999. So then we run con.connect, and now we'll have established a connection. And when you run this in this TWS here, it's going to come up with a pop-up, and it says, do you want to authorize this connection? So you'll have to hit OK, and at that point you'll have fully connected. Now the next thing that we have here is an order ID. So normally you'll make your connection, and let's say you're going to make a lot of trades, you're going to run this over a long period of time. You're going to need to add some sort of counter function that each time it loops through, each time it makes a trade, it gives +1 to this value. So for now we'll say order ID equals 1, but eventually you have to change that and just like increment it up. So now what do we want to do? Well, we want to specify the contract, so we'll use cont just so we don't interfere with the name contract. And cont equals make underscore contract. And what contract do we want to make? So let's go back up to make contract here. We've got symbol, security type, exchange, primary exchange, currency. So first we had symbol. Let's trade, let's do Tesla, so that's TSLA. And what is Tesla? Well, Tesla is a stock, and to denote stock, it's STK. Then we have to specify the exchange and the primary exchange. Well, we're going to use smart, and then again, smart. Now, you can actually specify what exchange. Smart is Interactive Brokers' smart routing, and what they do is they will automatically choose where your order should be routed to based on price and also where is this order actually going to be able to be executed. So price and availability. And then the final thing that we specify here is currency, and we'll say US dollars. So we've made the contract. Now we're ready to actually execute this contract. So our offer is, oops, let's get rid of caps here. Offer equals make underscore order. And for now, the easiest thing would be let's make a limit offer first. So we want to buy. How many shares do we want to buy? Let's just say 1. And at what price? Because this is a limit. So if we said buy 1 and just left it like this, then it would market buy 1 share of Tesla. But we can specify a price, and now it will become a limit offer for us. Fancy dancy stuff here. And now we're ready to place this. So let's do con dot place order, and the parameters here are going to be order ID, so OID, which is 1 at the moment. And then we want to say the contract and then our offer. And that's it. Now, when you're all done, you have to run a con.disconnect. And that's it. Now, hopefully, the only thing I see, maybe the order ID will conflict, but I think once you restart TWS, that won't conflict. Now, that should be it. Now, just a couple of things I've noted in my time playing with this is, first of all, what is this? I don't even know what this is. I'm going to move this over. In my time playing with this, for whatever reason, sometimes your offer just doesn't come through. So, like, try like 4 or 5 times before you give up hope. Because for whatever reason, sometimes it just straight up doesn't come through for me for whatever reason. And I assume it's just, you know, this is a demo, and so it's just not the perfect thing. And also, like I said, sometimes like weird things happen, like you just randomly buy stuff. Like I didn't buy any Microsoft, and so I don't know why that's there. Anyway, let's go ahead and run this, see what happens. So we'll save it. Let's run it. Oh, we have to call main, of course. And here's our accept the incoming connection attempt. We'll hit yes. And sec type, not define. Let's go look at what we've done. Okay, so we said that. Let's say this instead. I don't think I'd have to increment that, so we'll try and get away with not. Let me call main at the bottom here. Run it. Accept the connection. And looks like we made the connection. But there was no offer that I see here because we did want a limit offer. Let's raise order ID to 2. Send it through one more time. Now, just out of curiosity, I want to set order ID to like 500. Maybe it's conflicting with previous order ID. Okay, so I guess for me it was just conflicting with previous order IDs. So I guess it does save your order ID whenever you close it. I'm not positive. It might have just randomly come back, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So let's go. We could say like 501 now. And see, like now it doesn't come in. I just don't get it sometimes. That's what I mean with the demo. I'm not really sure how you can like improve this or why this is actually occurring sometimes. I'm curious to know if their actual like service is better than this if you're not using the demo account. I sure would hope so. But anyway, so that should work for everybody. You should be able to make your connection now. I imagine there's like a lot of little stuff that could interfere with this because you're not actually like there's no like API connection. There's no login happening here. So I'm not really sure. Like it's a very pseudo API connection that they have here. This is the easiest demo I've ever played with an API. So anyway, there it goes again. So I don't know why this does it this way. But anyways, that's it with the basics for IBPy with interactive brokers and all of that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those below. Well, I guess one more thing I'll show you guys just for kicks, the market order. So let's call this 503. Hopefully it'll run it. For whatever reason it didn't. Let's try it again. There it goes. If anybody happens to know why it appears to be random, feel free to let me know. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the section below. If you have any requests for another specific trade or something like that to use IBPy with or the API with, feel free to make some requests below if you have them. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support and subscriptions. And until next time.